Hello, welcome to The New Economy, What's Next? Our guest today is Crachad Laing, and he's with STEM Group Bahamas. So we're going to talk today about technology in education. So stay tuned. If you are a business person that is looking to grow your business in the new economy, this show is for you. My name is DRC Raming Jr. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Arawak X, a financial services firm. I'm a serial entrepreneur, futurist, and technologist. I studied robotics and after university chose to build my international business from the Bahamas. With all that is going on in the world, one thing is certain. The businesses that will survive and thrive have to evolve or die. This show will answer the question, what's next for us? What's next for the new economy? Join us on The New Economy. What's next? This show is for educational purposes only. The views and opinions on this show are those solely of the host and of the guest. Please enjoy. With the right business technology tools, a small company can compete with a Fortune 500. Imagine making your current workforce 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more productive. New technology can be scary. It disrupts processes and industries and changes them in entirely new ways. But with change and disruption comes increased efficiencies of many times. As a business or organization, that means competing with the big boys. A better way of looking at technology is like an engineer does, not as something to be feared, but as a tool to be used. Engineers look at technology in four main ways. There is development, implementation, practical use, and maintenance. Each requires a different type of skill and a different kind of technical background. For most businesses, when you are thinking about accessing these productivity tools, you should concentrate on a solution and implementation and practical use and maintenance of that solution. Experts in these fields have specialized knowledge that is expensive to learn in terms of money, time, and years of licks from experience. Experience matters, as technology mistakes are really expensive. When we interview engineers and technologists, keep in mind what practical problem it is that they are trying to find a solution for. As entrepreneurs, business leaders, and policymakers, understand that the tool is only as good as the craftsman. All right, so this is Crachad Laing. He's from the STEM Group Bahamas. Crachad, why don't you start talking about what do you do?
Yeah, and so what STEM Group is we're an educational and technology consultancy group. And so we go into organizations or entities and offer exactly that educational consultancy as it relates to technology. And so there's two different streams to that, right? We're talking technology integration as it relates to being able to digitize some of the educational services that institutions and organizations offer, as well as being able to help them integrate technologies that are going to make some of their systems and processes a little bit more efficient and effective.
You're talking you're talking systems and processes. You're an engineer, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then
sir.
you got it.
Engineer by degree.
Yes. I'm an engineer, so this for me, this is going to be a. I'm very excited about this kind of conversation.
Yeah,
But
man. Two engineers have never had a dull conversation.
exactly. Go on. You were saying what specifically in education have you been? What processes have you been helping to bring into the 21st century?
And so things like learning management systems, helping educators, students, and parents stay connected consistently throughout their educational journey, not just during times like this, but pre-coronavirus and quarantine, using these platforms to give better feedback and have more dialogue and connectivity between all stakeholders within a young person's educational journey. Outside of that as well, we host STEM programs, and so science, technology, engineering, and math programs, in where we give students opportunities to be exposed to and develop 21st century skills along the lines of those engineering skills that you and I would have developed
Wonderful,
while
wonderful,
in tertiary education.
wonderful. How did you get involved in education from engineering?
Yeah, and so education randomly happened. Studying engineering, graduate and undergraduate. When I was in grad school, I had an opportunity to teach at a boarding school in Philadelphia. While I was there, I taught physics and an applied engineering course, and just fell in love with education, the direct mentorship component to it. I've also always considered myself a youth mentor. Was very adamant about being able to pass on the opportunities and experience and expertise that I have down to the younger generations. And being having an opportunity to jump into education was a little bit of a no-brainer, and I was natural at it. And so right now I'm a big time advocate for STEM education, for the diversification of education, allowing students to be able to gain skills that are relevant in the 21st century, with the economic trends that are currently happening as it relates to technology and digitization. These skills are absolutely essential. And so it's been my mission to be able to expose participants, young and old, to the skill sets necessary to thrive in the 21st century.
Let's talk what's really fascinating about what people don't understand about the STEM fields is they are natural work from home kind of fields because it's all intellectual work. Could you maybe talk about a little bit about how you've been preparing during these times, how you're able to still work even though there's this lockdown of the society because of the field that of the STEM field, the nature of it.
And so, yeah, like you put it perfectly right. It's definitely like a laptop lifestyle, one where you're able to push all the tasks that you need to, right, from the comfort of your home or whatever environment that you feel most effective working in. And so for me, it typically looks like working on some web development projects. There's some hardware projects that I've been working on. I'm a big time tinkerer, like working with electronics and programming electronics to do certain things. And so there's some electronics projects that I've been able to work on. And I've also still been able to engage with my students through technologies like Zoom, Google Hangout, learning management systems like Google Classrooms. I currently head the math and science department at Windsor School, Albany, and we haven't stopped running since this whole thing happened. We still have the regular class schedule. Students log in virtually, teachers log in virtually, content, quizzes, worksheets, all that stuff is facilitated through our technology platforms. And so for me, it's been a busier time, honestly, than it was pre-corona.
Yeah, it's not many people can say that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's one of those industries where it's resilient, as I like to say. I think that it's tough to stagnate the technology work, right? And so in terms of some of those projects that I've been working on, like from a web development component right now, we're revamping our STEM group website. And so it's been a great time for me to dive back into some of the web development components and really not only apply those skills in our website, but also sharpen them, right? I've been taking some Udemy courses, kind of sharpening up on some modern day JavaScript techniques and being able to apply those within our platform. I've also had other entities who have reached out like, hey, this coronavirus thing has really been a reality check for us, and we need to be able to put digital infrastructure into our organization. Can you assist with that? And so being able to just have those conversations and give advice from the standpoint of digitization has been keeping me really busy.
Absolutely, absolutely. The what I shifting gears a little bit. What would you like to see happen in the society to make this transition a little bit easier? Because this is definitely the way of the future. We have to, as a society, this show is generally for entrepreneurs that are thinking about what to do next in this rapidly changing space. And just by introducing just a little bit more, by digitizing their processes just a little bit more, they can bring them their companies into the 21st century. And so, what would help? What changes would help this process happen faster?
Yeah, I think the thing with technology integration is it's intimidating, right? It's
Yes, it
very
is.
for people that don't necessarily have experience or exposure to the ins and outs of these various technologies. It can be scary to say that, hey, I'm gonna jump on and implement this thing. As a business owner, you want to have complete control of your entity in a sense, right? You want to at least have some sort of understanding of all the moving parts, and the technology bit is one that very few people have true understanding of. And so I think it's intimidating in the sense that business owners and organizations or entrepreneurs may not feel that, hey, this is beneficial for my business, right? And people also don't realize the power of this connected era, right? Where everything's digital, and if you don't have a digital presence, it's actually a hindrance to you and your organization.
And then they don't realize how much more efficient it makes their companies. So, like for example, we have completely digital. We're completely digital. The Arawak X platform. As you know, I'm part of Arawak X. We raise money for companies, but we've built the company from the beginning because it's a fintech company, digital, and so we can we can do the laptop lifestyle, as you say, and not miss a beat because our work is being done. So all of that paperwork, just one of the processes that we digitized was the paperwork. So instead of having to fill out some paperwork, then a messenger has to come and collect the paperwork and take it to the next person's desk. It's all done digitally. So that increased our efficiency to the point where one worker can do the work of like 5 people. And so people don't understand that this technology actually makes your normal work better and more efficient.
No doubt about it.
We'll be right back after a short message from our sponsor. At Arawak X, we understand that for businesses to grow, they need capital to hire staff, buy equipment, and fuel innovative ideas. We support this process by using technology, years of business acumen, and a world-class team to get business the investment they need to get to the next level. If you are a business owner and need between $100,000 and $3 million, contact us today. We will schedule a meeting over the phone or video chat. Get on the path to your dreams. Arawak X. Dream bigger.
Documents are part of every essential business process. That's why it is important that they keep moving forward. Documents can be forwarded to the wrong person, left behind on someone's desk, or in the worst case scenario, they're completely forgotten. So it can take an eternity for an invoice to be approved, for example. This causes aggravation and costs time and money. DocuWare takes your documents straight to the finish line electronically, without detours. All documents are always exactly where they are needed. Employees are immediately notified if they have to process a document. And what previously took an eternity is now almost incidental.
I've been blessed to grow up in a business family. The most important thing I've learned from them was to listen to experts' stories, learn from their successes, try to avoid their mistakes, and copy best practices. In the New Economy TV show, we are bringing innovative experts that are growth-focused. This show is for entrepreneurs, business leaders, and policymakers. Join me and my guests every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. on our TV. The New Economy. What's next? And so people don't understand that this technology actually makes your normal work better and more efficient.
No doubt about it. I like to use the analogy, and so our school, Windsor, we're completely digital as well. Mm-hmm. We're a paperless school. We facilitate all of our learning through, well, obviously in person, but all of the tangible components like textbooks, notebooks, worksheets, assessment and feedback. Those things are done digitally. And in preparation for my presentation at the Business Outlook a couple months ago, mm-hmm. I decided to do some research and gather some statistics on how technology integration has made
you're definitely an engineer, man. You're definitely an engineer. I'm loving this, the statistics. Let's go on.
Right. It's made it more effective. And so for me, a typical day at school looks like I'm in class with my students, and teaching just as a normal teacher would do, but things like worksheets or presentations and notes are facilitated digitally through iPads and the learning management system that we use, which in our case is Google Classroom. And so if I want to share a set of notes with my class, I can airdrop that to all the devices around me, right? And so I don't have to physically print and hand out papers. Worksheets, assessments, same thing, right? And also from a classroom management perspective, I don't need to do attendance because we use Apple Classroom, which automatically links all the devices that are in the classroom. And so that can then parse into the attendance platform to say who was actually in the classroom or not.
And from a it may seem like a small time saving, but that small time saving over the whole year adds up into hours and hours of extra teaching.
And so I quantified that as well, right? And I spent 2 weeks where I manually handed out worksheets. So went to the printer, printed off worksheets and notes, went to the copier, ran copies of them for the entire class, brought them to the classroom, handed those out manually, collected those things manually when I needed to grade, graded manually, and then gave feedback that way. And comparatively, I saved roughly 3 weeks, right, in a school year because I don't need to do these things.
Yeah. So imagine what can be learned in an additional 3 weeks. What advantage your students have over everyone else's.
Exactly, and that's not even talk about from a functionality standpoint. And so things like spreadsheets, things like working with word processors, things like maneuvering through digital platforms. My students are very proficient in, not because we have a class centered around these things, because it's integrated into their everyday school journey the same way that it's integrated in everyday life.
Awesome. And and it's preparing them to be better business owners, better workers, better people in general, because these tools are not they're not complicated, but if you've never been exposed to them, you don't know how to use it. It's just a tool.
100%. And then even from a productivity standpoint, like we're talking, post high school, we're going into university. Statistics show that 2/3 of all college students will take at least one online class per semester, right? And these are statistics from 2017. I would imagine that
now it's everyone. But
exactly. And so for a student who has never related to teaching and learning, that there's a learning curve there.
There's a huge learning curve. I remember I'm also like I'm a control engineer, so big heavy on the math. I remember my first, because that learning curve is so hard to get over. I'm an excellent mathematician, and I remember my first calculus class. I was in that office, in the professor's office every day, and I got out of there. I scraped out of there with a C-. It was my first C- in math ever in my entire life. But it was because just because I wasn't used to the calculus. I'd never done pre-calc, and so it has nothing to do with people and their intelligence. Sometimes it's just literally just they're not exposed. There's that learning curve where you have to get over that hump of before you can actually perform in these things.
100%. And so as it relates to technology integration within industries and organizations, I'm a huge advocate for it, just because statistically speaking, it is beneficial.
So where do you see this next decade in terms of education, technology, some of the industries that are going to come out of this? Where do you see?
Yeah, and so I think for sure there's going to be even more of a boost in terms of the technology industry, right? We're talking like software, web development. Like we're going to see a lot of people who are going to capitalize on this transition period of bringing organizations, entities, and individuals into this digital era. And so I think we're going to see a lot more software development. I think we're going to see a lot more technology adoption. I think we're going to see a lot more young people who realize the importance, of technology as it relates to everyday life. Because right now, this is one of the few times where technology in our country is absolutely essential.
It's an essential service.
It's an essential service.
If you had a old school business, your cash flow is going to be in you can't work. I mean, and
Right.
it takes, like we were talking about, it takes time to get your staff trained. It takes time to do these things. And which business can survive months and months and months with no cash flow, and with no ability to service any of its clients? It's almost none.
Exactly. And so it's brought about this time where people, it's a culture shock for a lot of people, but it's also a time or an intervention period where people are like, listen, this stuff is important.
We'll be right back after a short message from our sponsor.
Does this ring a bell? Offers, orders, delivery notes, invoices. Is the stack literally growing taller than you are? The important documents are in there somewhere. If you only knew where. And how can you get to them when you really need them ASAP? No wonder your employees lose track of the big picture, miss their appointments, or give up entirely. But desperate measures don't help anything either. It's high time for electronic document management. With DocuWare. Documents are scanned and stored digitally, automatically. Everything is stored and managed centrally. Well, almost everything. Order gradually sets in, and your employees can finally focus again. This is what storage looks like today. An improvement, right? Even emails and files go straight to DocuWare automatically. Searching is a thing of the past. Now it's all about finding with a single click. Easy, around the clock, and on the go. Like on your smartphone, for instance. And that's not all. You can sign off on invoices completely digitally, in a matter of seconds. Everything practically runs by itself. And starting right away, documents lying around for an age are a thing of the past. Your company gets a running start, and you can finally free your head for new ideas. With DocuWare.
I've been blessed to grow up in a business family. The most important thing I've learned from them was to listen to experts' stories. Learn from their successes, try to avoid their mistakes, and copy best practices. In the New Economy TV show, we are bringing innovative experts that are growth-focused. This show is for entrepreneurs, business leaders, and policymakers. Join me and my guests every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. on our TV. The New Economy. What's next? Which business can survive months and months and months with no cash flow, and with no ability to service any of its clients? It's almost none.
Exactly. And so it's brought about this time where people, it's a culture shock for a lot of people, but it's also a time or an intervention period where people are like, listen, this stuff is important. As it relates to the economy, I think that the beautiful thing for me with technology is that it doesn't require any sort of natural resource, right? Whether I'm born in a desert or a beachfront tropical destination like the Bahamas, I can contribute in the technology space as effectively as anybody else. Mm-hmm. And so I think that this is going to bring about conversations as I've read a lot of articles and seen a lot of posts around diversification of the economy, what other industries could be tapped into. And I think putting the importance on technology would be huge. I think that so. We have a great opportunity to be seen as, a technology hub. I know that there have been conversations around this, but I think that we could have pipelines of individuals who are ready to produce, good quality technology work, right? Engineering and technology work. Mm-hmm. And so I think that the major, I guess, pillar of economies that I see emerging through this whole thing and the decades to come is going to be technology services. I think that computers are, they're advancing more and more every day, as we know, and it's to a point now where so many things can effortlessly be automated, right? But the people to be able to build these digital environments and be able to maintain and upgrade these environments are lacking.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say they're lacking. I would say that there are a lot of us here. It's just we have to be empowered. This is not. It's every time someone talks about the D average, I cringe because that means you just don't understand statistics. If D is the average, you're forgetting the 90th percentile of people that are excellent. You just have to empower that percent. You don't have to worry about the D average and say that there's no reason. Especially now where in the past we would bring our experts from abroad. Foreign is better, but now you can't. So in this time, you have to rely on your local experts. I don't know about you, but my degree was very, very expensive. It would be and there's a lot of Bahamians that went to very, very, very prestigious, very expensive schools. You have to lean on their expertise and the knowledge that they learned when they were abroad, and instead of trying to pretend like we don't exist.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more there, man. I've seen countless stories of individuals from abroad coming in to do the same work that either I could personally handle myself, or I know individuals who are skilled in this space to be able to tackle these projects. And so I think it's a big eye opener, and I think it's kind of a time to be excited, right? I always advise individuals, like, now is a perfect time during this self-isolation to gain a new skill, right?
Absolutely.
Let's tap into things that we find interesting and see where these
I would say, if for people who are out there, definitely the most important skill, most important piece of software for business is Microsoft Excel. Learn how to use that, even if it's just to do basic budgets, basic things. That'll improve your productivity a ton. Nobody likes to do math, even engineers after a certain point in time. But Excel, when you set it up right and you do it right, it does all the math for you, and it's wonderful. So you know what I mean? So it's that's just the first of many different types of technology. Get comfortable with it, just like you play on your phone. Those apps and those games, these work-related software improves your productivity 10, 20, 100-fold.
100%, man, 100%. And I think, again, it's a beautiful time to use this time to become valuable. There's tons of free resources out there as well, right? From things like, I've gotten tons of emails for discount codes for Udemy courses or Udacity courses, iTunes University. There are a lot of universities that are just streaming their courses live online, so that anybody can come in and join in and gain in on these skills. And so Skillshare is another platform where people can use to be able to gain skills. And so just give yourself the exposure, man. I think it's a great time to step out, read some books, look at some articles, see what other individuals and businesses are doing, enlighten yourself and use the time productively.
Cool. So where can we find you? How do we get in contact with the STEM group?
And so you can reach out to me personally at Crachad at stemgroupbs.com. Our Instagram page is _STEMgroup, and my Instagram page is at Crachad Laing. I'm happy to have conversations around emerging technologies, the future of the economy, and digitization in general.
Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. That was Crachad Laing from the STEM Group Bahamas. See you next time. At Arawak, we understand that for businesses to grow, they need capital to hire staff, buy equipment, and fuel innovative ideas. We support this process by using technology, years of business acumen, and a world-class team to get business the investment they need to get to the next level. If you are a business owner and need between $100,000 and $3 million, contact us today. We will schedule a meeting over the phone or video chat. Get on the path to your dreams. Arawak X. Dream bigger. I've been blessed to grow up in a business family. The most important thing I've learned from them was to listen to experts' stories. Learn from their successes, try to avoid their mistakes, and copy best practices. In the New Economy TV show, we are bringing innovative experts that are growth-focused. This show is for entrepreneurs, business leaders, and policymakers join me and my guests every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. on our TV. The New Economy. What's next?